Welcome to Pouring Takes. I'm Charlie Van.
And I am Rayya. Be sure to visit our website, pouringtakes.com, to subscribe to all of our channels. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, all of our socials. We even have links to our brackets so you can see how bad Charlie is beating me right now.
I thought you were going to say how bad I was doing. I was like, not this time.
Hey, I know how to give credit where credit is due.
It's all luck.
But you can see we have a different scenery today.
Yeah.
We are outside watching sand volleyball, which is not happening, but sand volleyball courts nonetheless. We're at Bryant Street Tavern yet again, but a different spot.
Scenic view.
Yeah, it's 70 degrees even out here right now.
It is. I mean, it is actually good weather for sand volleyball. I always feel like that 70, 80. You can't get me out there, though, when it's like 90, 100. I don't know how. People will do it. I don't know how.
I used to be one of those people. I used to play like in those rec leagues at Sandbar, and I would play like starting now through maybe like September, October.
Oh, well, you're better than me at that.
Well, then I had knee surgery, so kiss that shit goodbye.
Well, we're glad to be back here. They've always been very supportive. There's also good deals tonight.
I was going to say, tell us about the drink special.
Yes, so we got $1 off draft, a Wells as well, $4.
Wells as well.
Wells as well, $4 Fireball. Also, if you like pizza, half off on pizza as well.
On Mondays.
On Mondays. Just to let you know, and it is Monday, by the way.
And they do drink specials for every day of the week. So today is Monday, and this is why we're drinking what we're drinking.
Which is perfect time with all the sports going on between March Madness, our hometown teams. Great spot to watch your sports and have great deals.
Gotta love spring. It's like the rebirth of a new era in sports. You can breathe a little easier, enjoy things a little more, get excited about, I don't know, maybe the World Series, winning Texas Rangers, putting a banner in Globe Life Field.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. And adding Whataburger to there you go.
Yeah, what a burger. Just kidding.
But also, you know, got the Masters coming up. There's just a lot going on right now. I love March, April, and May because there's so much sports.
It sets the scene for good vibes for sports going into like the new sports year, I feel like.
Well, because that summertime, I mean, there's a little law. I mean, of course, you have your baseball, you have your championship, but then that July, there's not much. But now we got the Olympics.
Oh, I cannot wait for us to do Olympics coverage. All right, well, let's just jump into what's going on. First of all, what are you even drinking? I know you said we had $1 off drafts tonight.
That is right.
But this is a beautifully colored amber beer. Tell me about it.
So it is a lager. It's Lakewood Lager. You can catch them over in Garland. They've been around for quite some time. Temptress is one of their big ones too. Very nice, strong stout. But if you like a good, easy drink, and like today, being on the patio, I definitely suggest a Lakewood Lager. What are you drinking over there?
So I sound different than normal today. A little under the weather. Got those Dallas springtime allergies. So to help soothe my throat, of course, we're drinking whiskey today. Whiskey Coke.
Good old whiskey Coke. Hey, it's kind of it's the old school medicine, I feel.
Right.
It's our medicine.
I'm trying to make great decisions here because I didn't in my bracket. Well,
I know our producer Tanner over here. He's rocking Dallas Blonde, good old classic blonde out here. So he's also got him a Fireball shot. So how about we just kick it off with a shot?
You just want to jump right into it?
Let's get it.
You want to unleash the beast, don't you? From
you
last
said the allergies. This is our little cough syrup medicine. Here we go. This is just to a wonderful weekend of sports.
And more sports to come.
And more sports to go. And opening week for the Rangers, which we'll talk about here in a second.
All right.
All right. That is cinnamony.
It really does feel like cough medicine. And I'm nervous these cups are going to fly away. Yeah. Tanner read my mind.
Tanner to the rescue. We don't want Captain Planet to come down and grab it.
No, I was afraid of Captain Planet as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. All those, like, that show, like, the superheroes rubbed me the wrong way.
You didn't like the haircut he had?
Maybe it was that. Sorry.
I'm surprised out of all we were talking about reboots before we got into this about Roadhouse. Anyways, I'm surprised there hasn't been a Captain America live action. Out of everything that they tried to...
Captain Planet.
I'm sorry, Captain Planet, my bad. Captain America's a little bit better. But Captain Planet, I always thought there was.
There was, Don Cheadle.
Was there?
On Funny or Die.
On Funny or Die, okay.
You know what though? Funny or Die, those reboots, remakes are better sometimes than the actual movies they try to do live action, I feel.
True fact.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I digress.
It sounds like we're already having a little bit of a therapy session.
Yes.
And anything outside of Roadhouse not being as good as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. It's free, though. but I definitely.
It's free if you have Amazon Prime.
Well, it was funny because I was watching Pat McAfee today, but also I was watching.
I was watching Pat McAfee
Remember
today.
we were talking about the comedian, which I was watching on TikTok. It's like first watch the original and then go to sleep. I mean, look, I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal fan. You know, kudos to Connor doing his first movie. If you love the original, you probably won't like this, and if you just like good movies, you probably won't like this either. So, but it's free, so you know.
You know what I know what's on my mind from last night?
What's on your mind?
I watched the USA-Mexico game and the U of H game simultaneously. I was flipping back and forth. And so AT&T Stadium hosted the CONCACAF National Finals or whatever it was. So they were playing for a trophy. And they were only showing this on Spanish-speaking networks. It was on like Telemundo and something else. So of course, I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but enough to like piece together what's going on. And USA did win 2-0, 2-0, and there were goals by, God, what's his name? Adam, he's the captain, and why can't, I'm blanking on his name, Adam something.
All right, moving on.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter, 2 goals, the first one was outstanding. The part that sucked, though, was there was a lot of, they had to keep stopping the game in the second half because the Mexican fans were getting too rowdy and saying, like, super racist stuff, like chanting racist things. And so CONCACAF have, like preset things to put on the screen that says, like, this game is paused due to discriminatory chanting. Play will resume once, basically, y'all shut up.
Wow. Yeah, definitely not good. Not something you want to definitely see, right? But I know that game, I saw a lot of people talking about it today. Unfortunately, I did watch the U of H, but I was also at a birthday dinner too, so I was trying to look under my phone.
No, when I found out that game was happening, because I think there's a lot of like international play right now, like not club play, country play happening right now. I just had to shoot it, and especially against Mexico. You know, Mexico hasn't been able to beat the U.S. since 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so my takeaway from all of this, not being the super soccer girl I am, so clearly because I can't remember the guys' names, but I think, you know, Weston McKennie played last night, Christian Pulisic played last night. If they keep the core guys together, we have a shot of being dangerous, and I kind of like where that's going.
Well, I mean, it's definitely good for, Team USA to really kind of, and when I say resurge, because for years there was that shakiness, right? You know, but I felt like...
You remember that year we didn't even make the World Cup?
Oh, I know, and that was so... Oh, man. I just remember all the anchors like, this is a disgrace. Like, how do you not make the World Cup?
How do you have all the money in the world and lose to Trinidad and Tobago to not qualify for the World Cup?
But we saw a spark in 2022. We saw some hope. We saw, like, okay, they're getting on the right path now, and so it sounds like they're sticking into it. So.
Yep, as long as, if you ever watched the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix, the whole thing behind that was getting the players to buy in to extended time on the team and not just showing up for the big moments. So as long as those guys continue to play the international friendlies together, enter tournaments together, build that chemistry, like I said, this team could be dangerous and could be a lot of fun come the next big tournament. I believe it's going to be a CONCACAF.
Yeah, I think coming
Cup.
up in May, right? There's some big tournament coming up in May.
Or the Olympics?
Well, Olympics too, yeah. I mean, it's just good to see that turnaround. And, obviously for years we've been definitely rightfully so, behind the women, a lot who've done phenomenal.
Yep.
But it's
guys,
good to see.
Pick it up. Pick it up.
See them both on the same page, see them both represented, but that's good. We'll keep an eye out.
You told me that you started watching a little bit of EPL.
I have, yes. I have actually, so I've been following Liverpool and Chelsea.
Okay.
Chelsea, because of my friend Daniel Bailey, we both know, shout out. I actually went over to the Londoner and we started watching that. But actually, Liverpool's a little more sentimental. So my sister, she played competitive club soccer. One of her coaches actually played for Liverpool back in the day. My dad's been watching for so long and too, and I think he's been trying to get me back involved in it. And so it's it's so much fun.
Hey, I'm a Manchester United fan. I went to international high school. Stop it. In Houston, and we didn't have a football team. I still have never been to a high school football game. Shocking.
Really?
Shocking.
What?
I know.
That is part of Texas.
I know, but
you ever
I went
watch Varsity Blues though?
No.
No.
So I go to this European school from 7th to 12th grade, and all the boys, all the cute boys who were from England and Scotland and France and whatever, all only watched EPL.
Yeah.
And this is before like La Liga took off. This is before Paris Saint-Germain started signing big players. This was like a strict EPL only. Mm-hmm. And so the boy that I had a crush on was an Arsenal fan. And I was like, who is Arsenal's biggest rival at the time? Manchester United.
Oh.
And that is how I became a Man U girl. Cristiano Ronaldo played for Man U. And then I ended up working for Aeon as an adult, who is Man U's biggest sponsor. So I have all these Man U jerseys.
Well, they're really good.
Watch,
they're really good.
But I'm telling you, if you get back into it, maybe you can convince me to watch some soccer at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
Hey, it is fun. Finding a pub, finding anywhere to just glued in, the passion, like just, I love it.
It's a different vibe.
It is. And just the passion from the fans too. And they are on early sometimes. Sometimes you can catch a 1 to 3. But even those morning games, just getting up, having some coffee, maybe a little whiskey. Mimosa? Not the first time.
I was going to say, do you remember that one day we pulled a marathon for the World Cup?
It was the World Cup, it was Big 12 and Mavs.
And Stars.
And Stars.
And then UFC at night.
Okay.
We were at one
I don't
bar.
remember the UFC part.
Yeah, I took him home. When the UFC fight started, I actually took him home. We were at one bar, Harwood Tavern, for 12 hours, 8 to 8, straight.
We were Sports Center.
We had the best day.
I think it was because of the mimosas. That's and the whiskey.
We were going like through carafes of mimosas till about like 3 o'clock. And then some guy started buying us shots of Jameson, and then we just switched to whiskey.
That's when it became a party.
he's like, why are you like this?
It was a long day.
It was
12-hour bar shift.
Yes, it was. I think we worked there as long as a lot of the bartenders did.
We saw the shift change.
Yes.
We saw 2 shift changes.
It almost felt like a hockey shift change, like lineup change. More. And we were still there.
They love us there.
Yeah, marathon.
It was good. We need one. We need another day like that.
Well, I would love to go and definitely like support more, watch more of these games too. And it's just fun. It's been a long time since I've really been involved in the kind of more of the soccer. Definitely paid more attention through when my sister was, competitive and level. So, but it's fun.
It is fun. Like I said, it's a different vibe. All right. Speaking of things that are a different vibe, not new sport, but new season is upon us for baseball. Rangers opening day takes place at the end of this week, I believe.
Thursday night against the Cubs.
We start defending our what? World Series Championship. I could not be more stoked. I feel like this is something we've all been waiting for. We've been through a lot of drama with the Cowboys, with the Mavs, with the Stars, and now our golden child, the Rangers, are finally back.
They are back, and back better than ever, and adding more and going out and adding pieces.
How are you going to win a World Series and get better? Just us.
Well, I think last year we said this on the show is, they definitely, in a good way, overachieved last year. I mean, I just wanted them to make the playoffs, They did more than that.
Oh my God, I can't stop thinking about how negative we were in September.
It was pretty rough, though. Let's be honest. Well, it was PTSD from what we've known as Ranger fans.
But what's hilarious to me is we have the same attitude with the Mavs and we have the same attitude with the Stars with 10 games left apiece. We're both like, well, we're kind of slumping towards the end of the season, and we're both so negative, and we said the same thing about the Rangers, and what do our boys do?
And it works, because it's harsh love.
Tough love.
Because we know, when expectations and potential, it's not like they lack potential. But going into this opening game against the Cubs, huge news last week, double news.
Yeah.
One, let's talk about Wyatt Langford real quick.
Praise the baseball gods.
Who is already set as some predictions to be Rookie of the Year, possibly. I know on MLB.com, one columnist had him having 35 home runs.
Is Evan Carter still allowed to win Rookie of the Year too?
I don't know,
because
he did get elevated mid-September, right in.
It's still his calendar rookie year.
And this is what tells you about this farm league. Evan Carter, 21, comes in, really saves the season to get in that wild card spot, and then was a huge big reason for that championship. And now Wyatt Langford, who just got drafted, barely been in farm system, has had like 6 home runs in spring training, and now he's been elevated day one, which is huge. And also great since we lost Mitch Garver and we need a big-time hitter.
He's coming in as the designated hitter.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect fit with us losing Mitch Garver. I'm so excited. We did a whole episode right after the World Series about Rangers' expectations, how we see the roster changing. And this is something that Danny, our friend, totally called.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Danny on our show next week to dive into more Rangers stuff. But, like, that was the one big piece of news. And then we had a pitcher sign with us.
Yes, Michael Lorenzen, great pickup, 1 year, $4.5 million, so didn't have to spend too much. He was with the Phillies last year, pitched a no-hitter against Washington. So definitely a great last minute, especially since we're not going to have Scherzer or DeGrom till this summer.
Yep.
And so when you're looking at this cast coming into this summer, having Evaldi, having John Gray, having, thank you, Tanner. By the way, I just saw a gigantic possum cross on that roof.
Don't tell me that.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, like bringing a guy like Lorenzen going into the summer, this is what we need. Of course, Evaldi's going to kick it off on Thursday. Love Nathan Evaldi. I love how stoic he is. He kind of gives me Nolan Ryan vibes. That's how Nolan is. Just how stoic and just how accurate. So excited. I mean, that's the guy you want to kick off things with.
Yeah. Super, super stoked. Again, Thursday night, our season starts. Our defending of our World Series championship against the Chicago Bears.
Not the Bears, but the Cubs. I hope not. We're going to have some injured players on this film.
I blame the fireball.
Personality.
I blame the fireball.
No, you know what? This reminds me of basketball. Remember the movie Basketball? Tanner remembers where they're talking about how inter sports, like different sports.
It's not my fault that the baseball team and the football team essentially have the same mascot.
Well, I'm going to say this real quick about the Cubs. The Rangers remind me a lot of that 2016 Cubs team because everyone was rooting for the Cubs to really finally break that curse, win that. And I kind of felt like when the Rangers won, everywhere I've been, just traveling, I was obnoxious. I was wearing everything Rangers. I mean, of course.
Fix your mic. You're making me nervous.
You know what? Mic check. Anyways, they were super happy. You know, I even ran into the Astros fans. They're like, they were happy. Like, you guys deserve it. You needed it. Like this was good.
And we didn't have to bang on a trash can to get it.
There you go. Ooh, throw in shade.
I throw all the shade.
Speaking of that.
Literally my job on this show is to throw shade.
Real quick.
Sports shade.
Just because MLB, they always do their big preview of who they think is going to be in the top. Number 1 is Atlanta Braves.
They are such a well-built and maintained team.
Yeah, and last year I kind of like they got upset, that was the biggest wild card, win right there. And then the Dodgers, which we have to see what happens,
Okay. Well, you brought up the Dodgers. I feel like we have to talk about it. The gambling thing.
Woo.
You think Ohtani knows that his translator was like spending all the money, hitting his DraftKings and his FanDuel and his MGM Grand?
There's definitely been the memes because he went to one of the March Madness. And when you're sweating out a bet or whatever, I was like, I don't know. I mean, and I say that because, like, I can't just assume somebody knows. But when you're that close to somebody, I mean, somebody fumbled the bag right there.
No pun intended.
Yes. Well, this isn't football. Drop the ball.
Well, fumbled the bag also implies dropping money.
Okay, that means. Okay. Well, anyways.
Actually, there's a different origin for that saying.
Let's just say.
But it's fine.
Assumption or not,
okay.
It comes out he did. Dodgers spent all this money on him, and that's huge.
But can they prove he was betting on baseball? That's
going to be a different thing. But
because if he's betting on other sports, I don't see a problem.
I just feel like baseball is so strict just with this completely compared to like the NFL.
Well, you know that Toronto's Raptors player, literally like right before we came on the air, has been busted for gambling too.
Yeah, this is not just in baseball. It's happening across the board. Yeah. But baseball's so strict with everything. They just are. Like,
there's only so many DraftKings ads.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody is gambling.
I know. So, but
Charlie, you do gamble?
I don't because I don't have the good luck. I mean, I lose $5 in Vegas, so I'm good.
So I play I do DraftKings daily fantasy for MMA and only MMA.
Yeah.
And it's only cards I get excited about. And I only win maybe 10% of the time.
I know how many people are so invested in it. I don't know. I guess maybe my concern is I know how much, like if I go a little too far, how much I'm going to lose. Because it is, I mean,
well,
just
for the record, sports gambling technically is not legal in Texas. Like, the daily fantasy is legal, but if you're like calling a bookie and making parlays and doing all that, that is illegal still in the state of Texas for now.
For now, we'll see what happens. But
you can bet at the horse races.
You can't.
I love doing that.
Loophole. That is the loophole. By the way, Kentucky Derby coming up May.
Oh my God, we are definitely doing a Kentucky Derby episode.
But here's my thing with Ohtani. We'll see what happens. I mean, it definitely, neither way, not a great look right now for their player that they went all in for. So we'll see what happens. But they are number 2. And then just quickly, of course, the Stros are back in conversation. Although I'm interested, because they have bench coach Joe Espada, who's taken over for Dusty Baker, which that's a big
big change,
but we'll see what happens there. And then at 4, I feel like Baltimore is always in the conversation.
Yeah, Baltimore was the hottest team last year.
But I feel like their postseason, that's going to be the question. But they are a good regular season team. And then Phillies, Phillies were a front favorite last year.
Don't talk to me about Philadelphia.
So they have us number 6. As the team, so we'll see what happens. But a lot, though, more positive than negative against the Rangers. So
again, like to reiterate, baseball has the longest season in sports. It's 162 games of pure blood, sweat, tears, and drama. Anything can happen. Literally, we are living proof. Anything can happen.
And we have a very, very explosive, offensive lineup here.
Yeah, I'm excited, and it's a fun division too. When you look at us. Houston, Seattle, Oakland getting ready to move to Vegas.
And
the Anaheim Angels.
Or the Anaheim Mike Trouts, as somebody said.
Mike Trout and then a bunch of other guys.
But I will say this, we said this, in Bochy we trust.
It'd be fun.
It's going to be fun.
I'm excited. We got to take ourselves out to Globe Life Field this summer for sure.
We got to have some watch parties. It's a marathon.
I would be super down for a tailgate at the game. Recording one of these.
That would be awesome.
So in. It's and then going to like Texas Live. We could totally we should call our friends at PBR. PBR loves us.
Oh yes. My legs don't like PBR, but saw that bull riding.
We got friends at PBR. We can make this happen.
Yes, we will make it happen. We'll be out there, so look out for that. But we're excited that baseball season's back. Go Rangers.
Charlie, do you like watching baseball on TV?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When I say it depends, I'm always glued to the Rangers, for sure.
Right, for sure.
But being there is just a whole different element.
Okay, I'm not denying that. But so a lot of people make fun of me because I will actually watch any given regular season game on TV.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm fully locked in, but I have it playing in the background. I'm washing dishes. I'm doing laundry. Some people would put on a movie in those instances, but I'm like, baseball is great background noise, and I like the fact that it's a chess match, and there are themes that pop up through the regular season. And again, stat person, Moneyball wannabe princess, I'm in. I'm all in. I love watching baseball on TV.
I'll say nothing was better than watching Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire out there. Those two monsters back in the 90s just banned. But no, I mean, here's the thing. A really good game, though, is so...
Like a good matchup?
Yeah, a really good matchup.
I like watching divisions, divisional rivals,
And I feel like the talent keeps getting better and better.
Or when the Yankees and Red Sox are on.
I think the only tough part at times is there's so many games, and that's the thing, prioritizing which games to be able
to I'm not committing. I'm not saying I'm going to watch a game every day, but on Sundays, for example, when I would normally be watching football, I don't mind replacing it with baseball.
I personally think it's enjoyable. But if you're not super diehard sports or diehard in baseball, you probably
are like, what's wrong with you?
But you'll love going. I mean, it's always fun going. So.
Well, we'll have to make that happen. A tailgate this summer for sure. All right. As the Rangers kick off their seasons, the Stars and Mavs seasons are winding down. The Mavs have 12 games left, 8 of which are on the road, which kind of ticks me off because I've been looking at the schedule being I want to go to a game.
Yeah.
And I almost went to the Utah game last week, and that's the game I should have gone to. But whatever. In fact, they actually have 4 games this week, including 2 games against the Sacramento Kings. Playoff position is absolutely vital right now. You've got the Houston Rockets making a run for that last spot in the play-in. Are our Mavericks going to end up staying in the play-in and possibly playing the Rockets? Or do you think we've got enough star power to get us into the regular playoff seeds, if you will.
I mean, it starts tonight, against the Jazz.
Who we just beat on Thursday.
Who we just beat, but
we beat them here. Now we got to go there.
That repetitive. I mean, I'll say this, and usually we talk about in our Dallas therapy, what I've loved to see is that this team is on a good run right now, and man, hats off to Kyrie, man. The way he's pushing right now and being the star he is, he's being very clutch. I love seeing that. I love seeing that so much. So, but now, right now, starts that clock. I do feel like they have enough talent that they can get past their play. And I think, this sounds harsh, I think they're better than the play-in. When they're playing like they are right now.
They are definitely better than the play-in.
So,
what's an interesting thing to me is, say we get stuck in the play-in and we end up playing Houston, we actually have a game against Houston on Sunday.
So we'll see. I mean,
like, a lot of things are going to be learned, not just about us, but about them too.
Yeah, and this is where all this pressure now will finally go on, and I say finally because it doesn't seem like it has been on Kidd's shoulders, but this is where he can make the adjustment in those lineups, because lately it's been actually pretty good, but when it matters, can you do it?
Okay, speaking of things you can do, Mavs ball took place this past Friday. I'm sure you saw the photos.
Yes.
Who is your best dressed Maverick?
I thought Derek Lively looked good.
Derek Lively did look good.
I mean, he can clean up. He can clean up really well. He cleans up well on the court, and he cleans up. I mean,
you said that.
But did you see his draft? He looked great in the draft too. Like, I don't think he cannot not.
That boy absolutely knows how to dress himself. That was a really good, good job. And I didn't.
Hey, I got the blazer on. I know a little fashion.
I didn't prepare him. So the fact that you went with D-Live, gold.
But the guy has been I mean, I know nothing about fashion, by the way. But
this is true.
But him at the draft, I was like, man, this guy's he's got the ball shot. He's gonna fit well here in Dallas.
And he absolutely did. Could not stop looking at the photos from Friday night, honestly. I love a man in a suit. It's like the equivalent of when y'all see a woman in lingerie, okay? That is how I feel about men in a well-tailored suit. And of course, I saw Timmy Hardaway Jr. in a blue suit, and I was like, whew, sir. Also, Luka had a really great suit on. And I would also say Josh Green dressed really well.
I think it would have been funny if Luka were more of I'm a dad now, something kind of fun.
No, Luka looks like an absolute grown-up.
Yeah.
That's
he has grown up. He has matured in that sense. Who surprised you as far as how clean up they got and stuck out?
Okay, so I would say the most surprising outfit went to Marquise Morris. Mm-hmm. He wore a sweater, turtleneck with a chain situation. In my head, I'm like, that's not gala wear, but he looked really good.
I didn't see all of them, but Derek Lively stuck out. I was like, man, that guy I need to get his fashion tips.
For sure. I one day we should do Mavs ball. I know it starts at $1,000 a person, and maybe one day our podcast can get us there.
Patreon. If anyone wants to sponsor us going to Mavs ball, so Rayya can check out all the nice outfits over there.
I just want to wear a beautiful gown, you guys. I haven't gotten to wear a big gown since one of my girlfriends, Keegan, got married. She had a black tie wedding, and I wore this beautiful dress with a thigh-high split and high stiletto heels. I brought it that night, and I haven't been able to get dressed up like that since.
Tanner and I will roll up like Dumb and Dumber in our orange and blue top hat.
Not a chance. Sequins and shit.
Goals. Put it on the vision board, boys.
I'll be sure to wear pants. Yeah, well, that's cool. I love that they do that.
Yeah, it's one of the, it benefits the Mavs Foundation, great charity. Lots of money gets raised. I believe they make millions of dollars in one night. So
I'm sure.
Between the ticket sales, the silent auction, the guys play some games and make fools of themselves. Apparently it's really worth going to. So one day we will get there.
That'll be awesome.
Okay, with the Stars. The Stars are also in the middle of their playoff push, currently tied with the Colorado Avalanche in points for the top of the division. They have 10 games to go in their season, currently on a 4-game win streak.
It's been fun. It's been great to watch.
After we cried and complained last week about the 2 big losses, seeing them win 4 in a row against, pretty decent teams.
Yeah.
They're about to go on the West Coast for a road trip with a key matchup with the Vancouver Canucks, who are absolutely lighting it up this year. 12 games to go, or 10 games to go, sorry. 10 games to go. How are we feeling?
I feel pretty good right now, and actually I see this team a lot very similar to the Rangers.
Really?
As far as the mix of veterans and youth.
Okay.
Logan Stankoven, Wyatt Johnson. I mean, you want to talk about rookie. Well, Wyatt's not a rookie anymore, but.
Sir, are you getting me drunk?
Try my best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, I mean, I think the mix of the veterans and the prospects, I mean, especially Logan coming out of nowhere, 21, and has made a quick impact. Of course, you got Wyatt last night, Mira Heiskanen having a laser shot, which is what you want to see. Ottinger had a really good game, too.
Yeah, Ottinger, the key for me is Ottinger. As long as Ottinger's confidence is in the right place, this team can't lose. He is a wall. He's an otter building a dam, if you will.
He is. I mean, I think he and also staying healthy too. But he is in these last couple of games have really showed the Ottinger that we saw going into those playoffs last year. I mean, this is what we need. Obviously, Ben's having a good backstretch right now too. And that's what you want to see. The veterans.
That makes me happy. My captain, captain.
Your captain, and Robo, man. What a great season he's had so far, which is what you want to see, you know. But these younger guys too, like I said, like Logan, just coming out of nowhere and just turning it up, and that's why I see the comparison, because it's kind of like how Evan Carter came in there in the end, 21, and just striking.
Just mixing it up. Wyatt Johnson kind of did the same thing for us last year. For me, like, we got very key matchups coming up. Not just Vancouver. I believe we play Winnipeg as well. We've got Colorado on the books. It's going to be dicey down the stretch. It's going to be fighting tooth and nail for that #1 spot. The last thing I want to do is face Colorado in the opening round.
No, I definitely don't want to do that, but it definitely seems like we're in the potential contenders of the regular season matchups of these are the teams to look in postseason, the teams that always show up, especially that, like you said, the Avalanche. And then, you know, Vancouver getting back to old form where for so long they were dominant. So I like it. I'm scared, but I love what I'm seeing so far in the consistency.
Got to keep it up. 10 games to go. Couldn't be more excited. Got to get out to one of those games.
Yeah.
If not, playoff parties. Last year we had the best time at the playoff parties.
There's so much fun down there at AT&T Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery, exactly. Yep.
It's so much fun. But all these bars around here, everyone is showing up support.
Texas hockey is real. Everybody loves their victory green.
It is, and
I mean the mascot too. He's my favorite mascot, hands down.
He's so much fun. No, I mean, and out of all of our Dallas teams, they've been, I mean, the most consistent in this last several years, and it's fun to watch. Hockey's fun to watch, especially going in person. I love the product. Great having Tanev. He's definitely been an instant support right there and help on the defense.
Yeah, and that's what we need. I want to see the aggression. I want to see them hit some people, maybe have some fights.
Fights have kind of, I felt, calm a little down the last couple of years, especially after
you know who's really picked it up?
New York
Tyler Seguin.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's angry.
He's mad. He doesn't. I think he knows his shelf life is starting to expire. Yeah. This team needs to win either this season or next year is going to be a little complicated.
Yeah.
I know Tyler Seguin wants it, coming off that injury.
I think him and Ben too.
Yeah, it's good to see both of them succeed in this the stretch they're on right now.
But I'll say just real quick, just going back to the Rangers, we're saying their farm system, the Stars farm system is really good, and that AHL presence. So even in the goalie, they have some people coming up, and they've signed a bunch of people too recently.
Yep,
so
I saw that. Yep.
They're just making smart moves. I love seeing it. So see what happens.
All right, moving and shaking on. The American Airlines Center is going to host the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 this coming weekend over Easter. We're going to get to see University of Houston here. I forgot what other teams are coming, but I know University of Houston will be here. First 2 rounds, how fun?
Oh, they've been
much fun was it?
Exciting. A few big upsets in these 2 rounds.
So I feel like the upsets were really big in the first round, and the second round was pretty standard. I know Kansas lost in the second round, which we all know I threw a tantrum about that one. But when you look at who's in the Sweet 16, there's only one Cinderella right now, and it's North Carolina State for the men.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we kind of called it in the first round on how I mean, how they just come to fight, and that's kind of how they are.
They showed their ass in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, I mean, and this is one of those definitely sleepers. How last year, I think, kind of Florida Atlantic and San Diego, both of them. If you would have told me they were in the Final Four last year, I'm like, oh no.
Some people don't believe it to this day. Like if you tell them, like, yeah, it was San Diego State, Florida Atlantic.
I mean, we look at that Final Four. I mean, that was outside of UConn and Miami at the time, but I mean, that was the most sleeper Final Four, which was fun. It was very fun. Not fun for brackets, but what NC State has been able to do and how they've been doing it is so great. I will say, yeah, Gonzaga upset in Kansas for me. Like,
but it was a 4-5 matchup.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like classify that as
Gonzaga.
like a true upset.
It is Gonzaga. How about Oakland over Kentucky?
In the first round, everyone who had Kentucky in their bracket, I feel for you. You know, growing up, I could never get Kentucky and Kansas straight. I always thought they were the same team.
Really?
Because the blue.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
And for so long, they've both been the two dominant teams that you're like, okay, it's one or the other, usually. I would say, you know, it wasn't the biggest upset, but still, like, you know, St. Mary's has more of a known program, and then Grand Canyon upsetting them in the first.
I called that one. I was so proud of Grand Canyon. I really thought they had a shot against Alabama last night.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why that matchup with North Carolina is going to be very interesting, because if Alabama just zigs when they should zag, you know. But also, you called James Madison over Wisconsin.
I did, and I actually had them going further. I thought they could beat Duke, because I'm not sold on Duke, but Duke really showed up the other night. Ever since I denied Duke, they've been all over my TikTok feed, and I guess their star player is very flamboyant and outgoing. Like, he can sing, and he like sings on his TikTok.
That's awesome.
Nails are painted. He's got this this vibe. Like, I'm not mad about this. Okay, Blue Devil, all right, cool. Like, it's something fun to rally around, and it's such a different personality than what we're used to seeing out of these players.
Do you think it's because what Coach K built for so long was super special, and of course we just saw, you know, a couple of years ago Roy Williams hand over at UNC, and there was that thought, how can this team, it's not a knock on the next guy, but when a legacy has been built.
It's in their blood.
Yeah.
They're called blue bloods for a reason. Oh my God.
The good old Blue Devils.
Woo!
Yeah.
Blue bloods. That is why they're consistently a problem. That is why consistently they're there. The culture, the way the program is built for long-term success, no matter who is at the helm. And guys like Coach Krzyzewski and Roy Williams really set that up moving forward. And I don't see them ever disappearing from, you know, that top spot.
No, and I mean, but it's fun to see those teams. You want to see some of those legacy teams still keep going. It motivates the other teams. It brings out the best, I feel.
You think about these kids in high school, like when they were kids, they were still watching UNC and Duke, and they know who in the NBA went where, and they aspire to be like those guys. So I don't even see the pipeline being drained, even with NIL. Those names, those brands,
well, I mean,
are timeless.
When you look at,
it's like Tiffany Blue.
Yeah. Well, and I've been some people are surprised by this, but I've been a long time since I was a little itty bitty kid, a Tar Heel fan of basketball. Part of it, my aunt and uncle live about an hour from Chapel Hill, but of course Michael Jordan, also Grant Hill. These are some of those names that were huge. And when I was in high school, you probably remember him too, Sean May. I know the NBA might not, but back then, just in Harbaugh, like seeing those guys play was magical, and just that product that they put, and to see them consistently still pushing that, because some programs do fade out.
They do, and you know what? It's an interesting debate, especially now that you consider NIL being a factor. The product that men's basketball in college puts out, I think it's currently better than watching the NBA.
I do too. I mean, just the passion. But you know, even with the NIL, it hasn't tainted though.
Exactly, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's there's so much at stake. I think it's better than college football, in my opinion.
I agree. I think those players on both the men's and women's side are really stoked to be there, really excited about the name across their chest more than the name on their back, which is super rare in college sports these days. And the exclusive-ness of March Madness, that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. There is no other league that does a legitimate 68-team tournament that you can run through and be a part of something magical and special. I would put that on the same level as the Olympic experience almost.
Oh no, definitely. And there's one small school I want to pat on their back from just being there. Stetson University. Actually, my grandfather played football for them.
They play UConn.
Yeah, and I mean, of course they're playing UConn, but it's like getting that's their first March Madness like tournament appearance. Just to have that, and those guys, I mean, yeah, you're going up, that's a tough matchup, but just to say when you graduate or when you leave that school that I got to be part of the tournament. It's so hard making the tournament.
Yep.
Like, especially if you're not one of these top tier schools, like it's really tough. So,
were there any like surprises outside of the upsets we've already talked about? Anybody that you were like, ooh, they had a little bit more trouble than I expected them to?
I don't know if it necessarily is fully as upset. There's a little bit more of fights, I would say. I mean, I think even last night Houston got shaked around.
That's they got shook up.
And that's concern. That should be a little bit concerning. It's not going to get easier, for them coming up. They're still a top pick. I still think they have the ability, but you got when you get shaken up a little bit.
Creighton double overtime.
Yeah, crazy. And I'll tell you, a team too that's sticking a little bit. Illinois.
Illinois is good.
Yeah, they're coming back to that old form. I remember old Illinois being, always in the mix. Purdue too is looking great.
Yeah, I definitely underestimated Purdue. That tall man really gets the job done.
Yeah. I mean, they're one of those programs that when we talk about old school programs, the only one we're not talking about this year is Villanova.
They're not there.
Yeah, which is crazy. But, I think everything else once it got to the second round was outside of NC State has been pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Especially the experienced teams for sure. I think we're going to see a lot still more of these experienced teams, but there may be one or two.
So I believe in our bracket, I had Kansas in my Final Four.
I did too. That's the only one that's not in there so far.
And I have Houston winning the whole thing. I think you went.
Yeah, I did.
You also went with Houston.
Yeah.
Tanner, how are those vibes working out for you?
Piss! Just the worst. I think I'm 9% in the men's and 20% in the women's.
I mean, it's not the easiest, I'll be honest.
Well, it's math. It's like winning the lottery. There are unlimited amounts of combinations of how this can go down. It's very difficult to pick this.
But I will say UConn has a chance to do something that hasn't been done since 2007, which the Florida Gators won 06-07, be back-to-back champs. I mean, that's kind of crazy. And I say it's kind of crazy because you see a lot of sports where there has been that. Not always the easiest, but in basketball. And they have a chance. And I'll tell you, every game has felt like a knockout. This early, a knockout punch on their end.
So I'm going to use this as my transition to go to women.
All right,
so you're saying UConn literally knocking out everybody they're seeing. On the women's side, LSU looking kind of scary.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed. And I know there's like a lot of behind the scenes drama with Coach Kim Mularkey with a possible expose from Washington Post coming out. I watched the LSU game last night and they won, but I remember I texted you.
It's kind of scary. Middle Tennessee State.
I said, I think LSU girls are acting entitled.
Yeah.
Like there was something about the way they were running up and down the floor. Shot selection was really poor, and I credit to Coach Kim Mularkey because she got in their ass and said this is unacceptable, and the girls started playing really good defense, which turned into really good offense, and they ended up breaking the game open and winning the way they should have. But given how their first round game went, and it like bled into their second round game. And they're a 3 seed.
Yeah.
In the same region as Iowa.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
Well, and I thought for a second, because they were last week, we're doing this new shot take where we pick a team from both, in the early rounds and each round, right? And LSU was mine. I was like, I may have to take a shot. And then I saw the second half. I was like, well, but still, yeah, that's scary moments. And right now, like you said, they're in there with Iowa, who plays tonight here in a second against West Virginia, who's, I think, outside of South Carolina, the most favorite, you know. So they gotta get it together.
And on the other side, South Carolina, #1 overall seed for the women, dominating.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Don Saley is not having anything less than perfection, and I'm here for it.
And they're kind of like I said, what the men's UConn team, they're that team that's 1-2 punch. They're coming.
They're
looking
coming hard. Anything in the women's side? I know that there was a big game with Stanford last night. Cameron Brink fouling out early in the game, but Stanford able to hold on. UCLA is still okay in it.
UConn was just playing. I mean, just their story of how banged up they've been, but how they're coming. They're like
Paige Buchers is having a great tournament.
I'm liking what I see there because I actually do have them, even despite the injuries and that, overcoming adversity and going further. So.
I mean, there's so much going on, and you know, Louisville was an early exit. I was hoping to see LSU in Louisville. Didn't happen. You know, basketball God said no to Haley, but it's fine.
I think I'm more perfect in my women's bracket right now, which is
Really?
awesome. Yeah. I mean, granted, I think I picked a lot of surefire dominant teams, but we still got some games tonight, so.
Well, what's really crazy is when you're doing these brackets, you know, we've been watching the men's tournament since we were kids.
Yeah.
We've been competing in brackets for men's for 10, 20 years. This is the first year I'm doing a women's bracket.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, 5-12 matchup. Wait, just because it's a men's trend doesn't mean it's a women's trend.
Yeah.
And so the way we've been like picking games is like, do you go more chalk with the women because we don't have that like statistical background?
Either that or finally doing math good. At least on the women's side, you know. No, I mean, but I also think on the women's side it's so exciting because there's so many top players.
Yep.
And they're delivering to their best. What you expect, but it's not normally the March Madness math all the time.
Do you know that the women's Final Four tickets are like quadruple the price of the men's Final Four tickets?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, there's so many star players, obviously, Caitlin Clark, Juju, everybody.
Juju is great.
You know,
I'm looking forward, once we get through the tournament, the WNBA draft will be right around the corner.
Yeah.
We might actually have to do a WNBA draft episode.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see because how many, I haven't seen all their, obviously we know, Caitlin's talking about going in, but how many are declaring?
They're all declaring.
So that's going to be interesting.
That's the part that threw me is that, they all have these incredible NIL deals. They have no reason to go to the WNBA, but a lot of them feel like they've done everything they've done in college and they want to go to the next level.
I feel like this women's tournament with a lot of these star players reminds me of the NBA playoffs right now, just especially the 90s, like just the names and just the level of talent. Any of them have a stake for this title. Yeah,
from a money standpoint, the WNBA just renegotiated their TV contracts for the most they've ever made in their entire existence, and they're actually trying to break out of the mold of being like part of the NBA. Yeah. And the girls coming in from college will actually get to keep their NIL deals.
Oh, that's good.
They'll all be endorsing different products. So Angel Reese said it best. She was like, I can go play for the WNBA, but still be a spokeswoman for this brand, and this brand. So they don't lose anything really by coming to the WNBA. And guess what? That means they can go qualify for the Olympics. That means they can play World Baseball. They can go play in Europe. They can do whatever they want. The world is their oyster, and I could not love this more.
No, it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting for women's basketball all around. I'm excited to see how the draft goes. I'm excited for this Final Four because last year it was fire. So and of course on the men's side right now too, it's been exciting. And speaking of that, since we're going to set up our next shot, now the next time we're here, we're back.
Well, it kind of makes sense that whatever happens this weekend leads into who
the Final
we picked
Four.
Our Final Four to be. And as I already said, on my bracket, I already lost Kansas.
Yeah.
I believe my other teams are Houston, Connecticut.
So or at least what's the one team on the men and women right now? They're going through, at least you see being there in that Final Four out of the Sweet 16 and Elite.
All right, for me, it's going to be Connecticut for the men, South Carolina for the women.
All right. For me, it's UNC again in the Final Four. Right there with you with UConn, but UNC is that one, and then Iowa. And then who's your upset these next two rounds? And you can pick any round, which the upset.
Upset. I don't even know what the seedlings are, but I feel like if LSU faces Iowa again to go to the Final Four, I feel like they're going to repeat. I feel like Kim Mularkey won't settle for anything less. I don't think Iowa has the star power to simmer that Tiger down.
They got the one star, all the pressure, kind of. My upset, I'm going to continue with last week. I think NC State's going to upset Marquette. I think they're fighting
Marquette's kind of fraudulent.
Yeah, and I just think they're that team. They could be that San Diego State. By the way, is it San Diego State, Houston tonight? Or this week?
This week, yeah. San Diego State moved on. That's correct.
Wow, that's great. They're trying to come back, but I think NC State's the new San Diego State.
So I feel like, this weekend you need to come visit me in Victory Park while these games are going on. We maybe visit Hero or Chop Shop and watch some of the games from there, get the vibes of the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16.
Ooh.
How does that sound?
It sounds good because we're going to be around those games. They're here, so
might as well enjoy it.
And that Final Four, both Final Fours, oh man, I'm excited. I love the Final Four, so.
All right, where are we next week, Charlie? I have no idea where we are. You got to tell me.
Oh, for next venue?
Yeah.
To be determined. So
okay,
we will let
still
you know.
TBD. Okay.
Yeah, to be determined, but we are excited though because we'll have more basketball. We'll see who's right.
We'll be getting ready for the Final Four.
We are getting ready for the Final Four. Also, we'll see how our Rangers do opening weekend.
And where we stand with our Mavs and Stars going into their playoff spots.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Tune in to next time.
Bye, y'all.